Hello everyone, today we're learning about mציעא Daf Tes Zayin, and we're going to start from about 6 lines down, beginning of a line. Tanya Kavasei Rav Yehuda. Let's bring a Aryeh to Rav Yehuda. So to understand what the Aryeh to Rav Yehuda, we need to know what Rav Yehuda says. We'll turn back to Tes Vav Amud Aleph, just after the mission at the bottom, and let's see. Omar Rav Huna, Choval Rechaim, if you took only the bottom part of the grinder of wheat, loikesh time, he's over 2 isurim, mishum rechaim and mishum kinefesh uchoyvel. Also if it says loisach rechaim, and also it says kinefesh uchoyvel. Rechaim berechev, also the bottom part and also the top part of the rechaim. Loikesh shalosh mishum rechaim berechev, that's 2, mishum kinefesh uchoyvel. And then Rav Yehuda argues, Rav Yehuda oima, choval rechaim loike achas, Rechev loike achas, rechaim berechev loike shtein, but you're not over on the issa of kinefesh uchoyvel, because that's going on all the other yisurim, on all the other things that like rechaim berechev, but you're over also issa. Anything that's oichen nefesh, you're over if you take out the mashkin. Says the Gemara, 6 lines down, Tanya Kavasei Rav Yehuda. Let's bring a Aryeh to Rav Yehuda that you only over 2, because we have 2 brises. In the first brise it says Chova Zug Shel Saporim. Zug Shel Saporim is a pair of scissors, and each one by itself is a keli, and you connect them together and it becomes a scissors. The Tzemet Shapori is 2 cows that connected together, and you plow the field with them. You look at each piece of the scissors and each cow separately, and you're over 2 isurim. You took only one piece of the scissors or one cow, you're over 1 issa. And it says in the other brayso, if you took these scissors, the tzemach price of 2 cows, you might think that you only over 1 issa because you took out the scissors and it's only 1 keli. And we can learn from there, like those 2 shemi chodim shnei kelim, that they two pieces, 2 kelim, each one by itself, but together they do 1 melacha. And you over on each one issa. Anything shnei kelim yuchodim, that they each one by itself is a kelim, and together they do 1 job. You over on each one by itself. So we could see from the 2 brises, the first brise, you could see Rashi explain that the issa is you over 2 lavim, and from the second brise, we could see that you learn it from rechaim berechev. So it must be the rechaim berechev. You're only over 2 isurim, 2 lavim, like Rabbi Yehuda, not like Rabbi Huna, who says that you're over 3 isurim. So we have a raya for Rabbi Yehuda from the brisa. Says the Gemara, that he took the mashkin, a knife, that he cut meat with it. Also, he came in front of Abaye. Omale zila hadre, give it back. We learned that from kinefesh uchoyvel that anything that's for eating, that's for basic necessities of oichel nefesh, you're not allowed to take the mashkin to give it back. But tokum bedina lo, and take him to Bezdin that he owes you money. And if you are right, you're going to win. Rava maloi tzorich lemekem bedina lo. No, since you have already a mashkin and you coin the mashkin, you don't need to go to Bezdin. Until the value of the knife, he could taina that this belongs to him, and he could keep the knife, or the person will need to pay him that value. Says the Gemara of Abaye, Lesla Yisvara, does Abaye no hold of the Svara of Rava that he could be toyin ad kedei tmeim? What's different in the story that we're going to bring? These goats, the ochli chulshla benara, that they ate barley. Rashi explains it's barley that's peeled in our door, in a place called Nador. Va'asamara de chulsha, came the owner of the barley, v'tofas lehu, he grabbed those goats. The kotoin tuva, and he claimed, he ate much more than the value of the goats. I'm keeping these goats. V'amar the Shmuel, the father of Shmuel, said, Yocholitu ad kedei demeim. He has a taina, doesn't have to bring a raya until the value of the goats. Why? Because he could have tained lekuchim on biodi. I bought them. So also over here, why did the buyer say that he can't say ad kedei demeim, that he could keep it? What's the difference? Well, he argues on Avud Shmuel. So the Gemara, no. Awesome, lav midi da'avdil ushlu la'gurihu. Over there, it's talking about a goat. A goat is not something that someone lends to his friend or you rent from your friend. Therefore, if it's by you, it shows why they're doing by you. Obviously, you bought it. Hocha midi da'avid la'ushlu la'gurihu. Over here, the knife is something that you lend out or you could rent it. And therefore, you can't tie lekuchim in biyodi. Why not? Let's see. The Sholach Rav Una bar Avin sent out very asuim la'ashur la'asker, something that's normal to rent out or to lend out. And now this guy, we know he belonged to Reuven. Now Shimon says, I bought it off Reuven. Even though that we have a chazaka shekol ma shtachas yodei shelo, but here he's not nemon because maybe he borrowed it or he rented it. So also here by the knife, that's why he's not believed, because he doesn't have that migu, because he wouldn't be believed to say lekuchim hem biyodi. Says the Gemara, v'rova less svara. Okay, so what did Rava hold? If such a thing you don't have a chazaka on, so what's the migu? Well, Rava, he himself, apik zuga the sarabala, he took out a scissor that he cut with it the wool of sheep. The Safar Dagatan, a book of stories miatmi from Yisoimim, that the Bailim brought Edim that was them, and they taina that they say that was by the Yisomim because they lent it to the father. And Robert took it away from the Yisomim because Robert believed them, because they don't have a chazak on it, because it's something that people lend out or rent out. So again, Veraba Apik Zugu the Sarbala, he took away a scissors to cut wool, the Safar Dagatan, a book of stories. Miatmi with Dvorim Ashrim Lashkir, so we could see he himself agrees to this for that you can't tell Lekuchim and Biodi by something that's Rogil, La'ashil, or La'askir. Or Malacharova, Ahai Nami, this knife as well came in the Mifkima, since if you don't use it correct, or it could get damage when you use it, Kapti Inchi, people are makpid on it, and they don't lend out this knife, and therefore if it's by you, you could tie lekuchim and biyodi, because it's not very asuim la'ashil or la'asker. And Lechora Abai argues on that, and it says it is asuim la'ashil la'asker, so it's more of a machlokes. What's a common thing? Does people lend or rent this out or not, this type of knife? And therefore, that's the source of the machlokes between Abai and Rava. If this guy who grabbed the knife, can he be toyen ad kedei demem or not? Hadron alocha mikabel, we're going to come back to you blineda mikabel and learn you again, and Bez Hashem, all the alochas and all the dinim and all the yisoidis that we learned in Perika mikabel, we should remember them, and we should be zoichet to keep them, and we should be zoichet to learn with other people about them and discuss with other people, and we should have a good memory and remember well this Perik. It's very exciting. We have one more Perik left, a very short Perik, and then we finish the second gate of Nezikin. Let's go ahead and start. Says a Mishnah, Kufte Zayin Omud Beis, a Bayis V'Aliyah, a house and an attic on top of it. Shel Shnaim, that belong to two people, and Rashi explains like two brothers who split in the Yerusha of their father, in the Nachla of the father. One took the attic and one took the bottom floor. Shenoflu, that fell down. Shneim Cholkim Ba'etzim U'Vabonim, they both split in the wood and the bricks that from the house that fell down on from the attic. And he calculates, Rashi explains, if the house was 3 meters high and the attic's only 2.5 meters, so he calculates the percentage of each one. Ba'afan in the earth. Continue the Mishnah of Eroim Elu Avonos Asur Shishtaber. And you have a look how the house fell. If the house fell far away, so the attic stones broke, so he gets the broken one, and the bottom one gets a full stone because they fell less of a distance, and therefore they're less likely to break. And if he fell inside, like downwards, so the bottom ones got more of a bang, and they're the ones who are broken, and the top ones are not broken, and therefore the bottom one gets a broken one. If they both don't know who the broken ones and who the full ones, and one of them says, from the way it fell, we don't know, and one of them says, I recognize this was in my house, and obviously he's saying in a full stone, not one that's broken, and he wants to take it. Noitlom, he takes the full ones, and we calculate keneged that the other person will get a broken one or a full one. We're going to see in the Gemara. Said the Gemara, since we see that you could calculate which one's broke, Michlal, comes out the we could work out if he fell closely, Chafsa fell inside, they fell far away, and the top ones are the one that broke, like a stick. It fell down, boom. If so, Reisha my cholkin. Why did it in the Reisha that we just split everything, the broken one and the full one, fair in the percentage of how much square meters each one had? Next day, let's have a look. If it fell like a stick, but the top ones broke more. If it fell inside, that the bottom person's stones broke, and therefore he should get more broken ones. So the Gemara law, the case where we don't know, that we say he split it, it fell at night. So the Gemara, have a look in the morning, and you can tell how it fell. If the stones are far away, it fell like a stick, and if the stones all one on top of each other, it fell like inside. So the Gemara, the Peninu, that someone cleared them up. So the Gemara, let's find out who cleared them up. And let's ask them. So the Gemara, no, the Peninu b'nei Rishus Rabin, someone in Rishus Rabin cleaned them up, and but also the Alman, they went away, and we don't know how it fell. So the Gemara, let's have a look in whose property they're sitting. And the other one should be and the one it's in his property should be muchzik in the good stones, and he should keep all the good ones, and the other person should get all the broken ones. The Gemara, it's sitting in a property that belongs to both of them, so they're both muchzik. Inami b'Rishus Rabim, another teretz that's talking about with all the stones in Rishus Rabim, so no one's muchzik. The boy say, man, I have another teretz, shutfim b'chiyai gavne loy kapti adodi, even though that property belongs to one of them, because they are shutfim, that they used to own a property to get a house together, one the house and one the attic. So it's not considered chazaka because they let each other go into each other's property, and therefore that it's in one Reuven's property, it's not called a chazaka because Shimon's also allowed to put stuff over there. And therefore it's not considered a chazaka, and therefore you go and say Amoitzim Chavel Aryeh, and the thing is you split it equally between the broken and the full ones. It says in the Mishnah, if one of them recognizes and it says these are my full ones, he can take it. Says the Gemara, why the other one saying, the other person, either in, if he agrees, yeah, that full one is yours, pshita, obviously he goes to the person who it's recognizes it. They all agree. If he doesn't agree, why do we believe the person who says it's his? The other person says it's not his. So the Gemara, one says I recognize this full brick is mine, and the other one says I don't know, and therefore we go after Bari V'Shar and Bari Adif. So the Gemara, the Rav Nachman, it's a kasha from the Mishnah on the din of Rav Nachman, the Itma, we learned, Reuven comes to Shimon and says, you owe me a money, and Shimon says, I don't remember. Rav Huna, Rav Yudah, you need to pay because Bari V'Shema, Bari Adif. Rav Nachman, Rabbi Yochanan, Potter, you'll be Potter, and here we could see in our Mishnah, the Bari V'Shema, Bari Adif. So the Gemara, the Omar Rav Nachman, like Rav Nachman answered a different kasha, we could say the same teretz over here. What did he say? It's talking about whether he's chayav a shvur, because he's moed b'miktzas, like we can explain in just one minute. And therefore, also here it's talking about where there's moed b'miktzas, and he can't make a shvur because he says, Einu yedea, so mitoch she'einu yochel yishava mishalem. Ochenami also over here, kigoin she'es eisek shvur b'neim. So the Gemara, what's the case over here that's talking about the Asik Shvur, that he can't make a Shvur and he needs to pay? Like Rava said, the Omar Rava, Reuven comes to Shimon and says, you owe me a money, and Shimon says, I owe you 50. Vashar, the other 50, I don't know if I owe you or not. So he's moidem in miktas, and he can't make a Shvur that he doesn't owe the other 50 because he doesn't know. Because he can't make a Shvur, he needs to pay. So also over here, it's in a case where he's moidem miktas, and since he's moidem miktas, he can't make a shvur because he says doesn't know, and that's why he needs to pay, and therefore you don't have no raya against Rav Nachman, because Rav Nachman told him, well, there's no asik shvur b'neim, and therefore he's potter when he says einu yedea. We learned in the Mishnah that Reuben recognizes his stones and Shimon doesn't know, so Reuben could keep those good stones. And we calculate in the Cheshbon. Rava thought to say that Reuben recognizes a full stone, and Shimon says Shimon will get connected that full stone, he'll get a broken stone, 2 halves. So the Gemara Alma, it comes out, since Shimon says I don't know Riyatfei, he loses, he gets connected the full one, he gets a broken one. Abaye asks Rava, it doesn't make sense. Atrabah, the opposite. Riyatfei, the guy who recognizes one stone, he's worse off. Midani Yoda, since he says this one I recognize, it's mashma. Fei lo Yoda, the other ones you don't know. To Leslie, you should only get this full stone because you recognize only this one. This one's yours. All the rest to go to the other one, to Shimon. And all the other good ones should go to the person who doesn't recognize anything. Ninu. Elo Abaye says Abaye the opposite. Lefi cheshbon shleimois. It's so much that Reuben who recognizes stone gets his full stone, and Shimon gets connected at a different full stone. So the Gemara Yochi, what's the big benefit of Reuben to get this rock, this stone? Shimon also gets a full stone connected at. What's the benefit they recognize? It's mashma that he gets a benefit. So the Gemara two terutzim. First teretz is lemal ben Ravcha, that the one he recognizes is done like a malbin. A malbin is like 2 sides longer and 2 sides shorter, and it's wider. It's a good stone. It's a good brick. So therefore, the one he recognizes a good brick, the other one gets connected at just a normal full brick. So it's still a benefit for him that he gets a better brick. Inami, another teretz why it's a benefit. Tina de Ma'abda. There's different types of bricks. Some are done from better mix and some are done a worse mix. So yeah, this guy recognizes stone that has a very good mix, he gets that one, and the other guy gets a normal brick that's not done in the best mix. So that's his benefit from recognizing his brick. Says the next Mishnah, Abayis Valiyah. Here it's talking about, Rashi says, we're going to learn in the Gemara, it's talking about a house and an attic that belong to a landlord and a tenant. The landlord lives in the bottom house and the tenant lives in the attic. Niftecha aliyah of the roof of the bottom house, that's the floor of the attic, opened up. Vein bala bayis to attack, and the landlord doesn't want to fix it. Aryeh bala aliyah, the guy in the attic, the tenant, Yurid, goes downstairs, but Aramata, and he lives downstairs together with the landlord, until he fix the roof of the bottom floor so he could live in the attic. Rabbi Yossi says that the bottom person has to fix, when it breaks the ceiling, he has to put the wood of the ceiling. And the top one, the one who lives at the top, is Amaziva. He has to pay for the plaster. We're going to see the Gemara is going to explain exactly what Rabbi Yossi is arguing over here with Tanakama. Says the Gemara, Niftecha bekama. When we said that the ceiling fell through, how much did it fall through? A little hole, he could move already downstairs. Rav Omar Baruba, most of the ceiling fell through. B'Shmuel Omar Ba'arba, it's enough that 4 ames, if I'm not mistaken, it's ames, 4 ames open, it's enough that he can move downstairs. What's the machlokes, says the Gemara? Rav Omar Baruba, dafka if most of it, but Ba'arba loy, why? Because now the machlokes says, Rav says when a little bit opens, he could move downstairs, but not all his stuff, only connected what's open upstairs. So Rav holds, Baruba, Ba'arba loy, why odom dar chetzi lemata v'chetzi lemalo. The landlord could tell him, listen, the upstairs is still okay, only the opening of 4x4. So move a furniture the size of 4x4 downstairs and have it downstairs, you cupboard. But live upstairs. A person can live upstairs and downstairs. The Shmuel Omar Barbar, once it's open 4x4, you can move downstairs. Why? Because ein odom dor chetzi lemato v'chetzi lemalo. You can't expect from your tenant to live half in the attic and half downstairs. Said the Gemara, what's the case in the Mishnah? If he said, I'm going to rent you this aliyah, it fell, it broke, there's no aliyah, go find a different place, what do you want from me? So the Gemara, he said, I'll rent you, the landlord told the tenant, I'll rent you a aliyah, a attic. He didn't say which aliyah specifically. So the Gemara, what's pshat? that you could force a landlord to move into his house. If the landlord has a different attic, you should give it to him. He never committed to a specific aliyah, so why can't we let the landlord give him a different attic to live in? Why could the tenant force a landlord and move into him? It's talking about the Omar le'aliyah. He said to him, this attic, shani maskircho, that I'm renting to you, kisalka, when it's existing, solik ba'ado, live in it, kvichinochis, if it breaks, chaves ba'ado, come live with me. Said the Gemara, Yochi Maile Meimra, if that's the case, we told him specifically that if the attics falls the ceiling, the floor of the attic, you could move downstairs. What's the chiddush? Obviously, it was a clear deal. Elomar Rashi, it's talking about the Omar Aliyazu. He said, this attic, Shal Gabi Baise, I'm renting you this attic that's on this house. Ani Maskircha, I'm renting to you. Do Shabit Bais Laliyah, he was Meshabit. By that he said that it's on this house. Why did he need to say? He could say this Aliyah, but why is he saying on this house? He's Meshabit the house to the Aliyah, that if the Aliyah is not livable, you can live in the house. And it's similar to what we're going to see another case. V'chihod Omar Rabin, Barav Ada Omar Rabitzchok, like Rabin, the son of Rav Ada, said in the name of Rabitzchok, the story of a person, they told to his friend, I'm selling to you this grape tree, this vine that's lying on top of a peach tree. I think it's considered peach. In Hebrew it's called afarsek. And Beneka, parsek, and the peach tree got uprooted. And the story came in front of Rabbi you need to put him a new peach tree. When the vine tree is still existing, you committed your peach tree to stand and support the grape tree, and therefore if it got uprooted, you have to make sure that you should have something to support this vine tree in it. So we could see that when you say, I'm selling you this, that's on top of that, you're committing that thing to the other thing. So also here, when he said, I'm renting you this attic that's on this house, he's committing the house to the attic. Now, they talk about over here, the Rishonim and the Achronim, about the Chura, if he committed this peach tree, or this tree to the grape, if it got uprooted and died, so he's not mechuyev because he committed this tree. This tree doesn't exist anymore. Why did he need to plant him a new tree? So some people are gurus the nekar parasik mimkoimoy, that the peach tree didn't die, just got uprooted from its place to different places. Mechuyev, since the tree is still existing, is mechuyev to put it back and make sure that it supports his vine. Thank you very much. I'm looking very forward that Mamish very soon will be finishing Bava Mציעא. We should all be zoicha to finish on time and to remember it and come back to it and understand the Gemaras and zoicha to mekayim all what we learn. Thank you very much.